All right, welcome and thanks for joining me today. Let's talk. All right, um, I find that the best gifts create memories. You can give somebody some money, gift cards. You can give them something that's going to deteriorate over time, but nothing like creating memories. Um, so the moment when everything comes full circle for me is when I realize that I have given this person a moment, a memory, and either spark some type of emotion from them is when I know, yes, I got them. I consider myself like an active listener, so I'm always listening attentively, obtaining as much information auditorily. Sometimes I swear, over time, my hearing has become sharper just because my eyesight has deteriorated over the years. So it's a way of my body kind of compensating and providing me with such great hearing to kind of make up for the loss. But I use this skill really to my advantage. I take these mental notes during random talks with my loved ones about things that interest them, things that um, they want, things they desire, and I kind of put it in my back pocket. So for my man, his holiday really that he like, oh, this is my day. It's a big deal. You got to make a rah 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 about it. Is Father's Day. He cherishes that day more than any day. For me, it's my birthday. I feel like that's my birth. I'm alive because of this. Not him. He don't care about that. He don't care about Christmas. He don't care about Thanksgiving. It's Father's Day. That's his day. So one, I'm gonna say you have to know your partner. You got to know what they like, what they desire, what they're interested in, but also what holidays really they for me I don't want to celebrate all the time, but my birthday, that's the day. But for him it's Father's Day, so you got to know those things. You got to make those mental notes and then reflect back on that when it's time. Sometimes you get caught up when it's time to purchase a gift because you really haven't been paying attention or being attentive to what these individuals around you are saying. But if you're doing these little micro mini notes in your mind, when conversations are happening and when people are mentioning things, you'll know what to buy when that time comes for that particular holiday. I'm going to say this too, you don't have to wait for a holiday to give somebody a gift, but of course, depending on your funds, you got to move differently. So it's had to be probably like about 5 years ago. We had been together, I want to say maybe 2 years or so around that time, maybe a little less. And we had had some conversations about certain things we wanted to see, certain places we wanted to go. And one of the things that he mentioned during that conversation was one of the memorials he wanted to go see was the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial that was in DC for like a few years now. But it's something he wanted to see, with his own eyes. I'm like, you can look it up online, right? Trying to be messy, but um, he wanted to see it with his own two eyes. So, like I said, I put that sucker in my back pocket. Months passed, and Father's Day was rolling around. I made reservations for dinner. I got us a hotel out of town, and we enjoyed the evening thoroughly. When we go out, we like to have a good time. Drinks, good food, good conversation, and it kind of was all this build up to later what would have been the unveiling of this gift. So we had the dinner, we enjoyed ourselves. Food was great. We celebrated him, as a father, not only to his child, but also he stepped in and he became, and it still is, a father to my daughter. So I'm going to pause there for a second and just say, shout out, it takes a real man to raise someone else's child. And he does it effortlessly. So it doesn't impact him or he doesn't think of it as a burden or anything like that. He thoroughly enjoys being a father. And like I said, even to my child, which is not his biological child, you wouldn't know if you just saw us out in the streets because that's how good of a relationship they have together. Um, he deserves, to me personally, to be treated like a king just based off that alone. We can always find somebody to love us, but a lot of times it's difficult for someone else to not love you, just love you, but also love your child, and take them in as their own. So, um, he does things like attend her performances, he goes to parent teacher conferences, he helps with homework. He has shown her what a man is, what a partner is, and what a father is. So, all right, back. So after dinner, we went to the hotel, and I'm like, all right, it's gift time. He doesn't really care about gifts, but he obliged and said, oh, you didn't have to get me anything, but okay. And I'm like, no, just open it. There's nothing big, but I think you're gonna like it. Now I fine wrapped it. Got the bows and all the trimmings on there. The ribbon. I love wrapping. It's another one of my joys. But what I did was I ordered a postcard with a picture of the MLK Jr. Memorial on the front, and then on the back I wrote a little message to him to kind of let him know we're going to be going on this trip. Like, hey, pack your bags. This summer, we're going to be going to see this with our own two eyes. And I packed the box really tight with tissue paper. In the middle of the tissue paper, in the center, I placed the postcard face up, and then I packed some more tissue paper on top. So the presentation is just as important too. So I did that, wrapped it lovely. And then as he opened it, he's seen all those tissue papers. Like, what is this? What is this? He pulled out the tissue paper, and then in the middle, he saw the postcard. He kind of paused, like, what is that? Like, what are you doing? Why are you giving me a postcard? Oh, I'll flip it over. I know you really wanted to see it, so I wanted to get you a postcard. I was like, flip it over. And he read the note, and he kind of had like a moment to himself too, and you could see it come full circle from that conversation to this moment of me giving him this gift. And he looked at me and just was like, no one has ever did anything like this before. This is so thoughtful. How did you even remember this? And you can see that he really appreciated the thought that went behind the gift, the time it took, and the moment we shared, and just celebrating him as a father. So I'm like, bring it in. Bring it in, baby. That's our way of saying, give me a hug. Bring it in. And I say that, the intrinsic satisfaction I got from that moment, knowing he was happy, is unmatched. And nothing like being able to give someone that type of joy. So I encourage you to give freely, because it always comes back tenfold. And not because it comes back tenfold, but because of the joy you get from giving someone else joy. All right, that's all I got for you today.